Welcome, everyone, and welcome to Progressive Discussions. I'm your host, James P. Madonna. As seen on the web, I've been doing this since, well, not counting video, since the, I'd say the turn of the decade, probably around 2000. Okay. And as far as podcasts go, audio podcasts. And then I started doing the progressive internet talk shows starting out on 2007. So I guess I started before or around the date, which, well, not the date, but the year that the date that will live in infamy, the second date that will live in infamy, which is today, September 11th, and I believe it occurred in 2001. Correct me, people, if I'm wrong. So that's about the time I started with the podcast, with my late great original co-host and mentor and the managing editor of Newsletter Censored, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. May he rest in peace. A brilliant man. I started with him. Today is September 11th, 2022. The second date that will live in infamy. It's Sunday afternoon, and here in northeastern New Jersey, it's raining all day, which is fine as long as it knocks the temperature down. And I love the dismal, foggy, gothic look. It reminds me of my favorite season of the year, autumn, and my favorite fun holidays. All Hallows Eve, All Souls Day, followed by September 2nd, the Day of the Dead. And then there is Thanksgiving. Very enjoyable holidays. October is my favorite time of year. Not counting the beautiful foliage, which is simply green leaves slowly dying. And believe it or not, that's why they turn those beautiful colors. And then the winds of November come early and the foliage starts to fall off. They dry and fall off the trees. Anyway, I'm going to do a 21 bell salute to the more than 3,000 innocent victims of the tragic day of September 11th. Okay. Okay. Just want to say hello to one of our good friends, Mr. Bart Robinson. Hey, Bart. Hey, my friend. I'm in line at Aldi's, and it's raining. It's ass off here in Glassboro. Good to see you. Yeah, it's rain. Well, rain was hitting a friend of mine who lives in Tijuana, Mexico, in the San Diego area, simply because they got hit with a Pacific Ocean hurricane that made its way up Baja, traveling north. And hopefully it'll help break the horrible heat wave and drought that's taking place in California right now. It's really a state of emergency, I would say, thanks to the greedy right-wing politicians and their big oil oligarch responsible for climate change. Well, anyway, I'll try to make this a good show. A good show. I'll do my best. So, how is everyone doing this weekend? Autumn is September 21st. I think that the seasons change on the 21st. They call that the, well, there's the vernal equinox, and then there's another equinox. trying to think. Well, anyway, the only one I remember is the vernal equinox. And they're all equinoxes when the seasons change, which usually occurs on the 21st. First day of autumn is September 21st. First day of winter is December 21st. The first day of spring is March 21st. And the first day of summer, as well as the longest day of the year, which I can never understand, is June 21st. You would think the longest day of the year would be in the middle of summer, but it's really not. So that's it. I'm going to start off the show by saying something. First, I will quote President Joe Biden, and then I will make a comment that was made that I think is very accurate and correct. Joe Biden says, quote, "We are still at our core a democracy, exclamation point, unquote." Joe Biden, we are still at our core a democracy. Now, the correction for Mr. Joe Biden is, if that's the case, then why do general election debates only have two parties? And why is your party fighting in court to keep third parties off ballots? If it's so much of a democracy, how come the third party is kept off ballots? Well, and you're fighting in court to keep the third party off ballots. I thought the freedom of democracy meant that Americans are entitled to have options. You would think so. But not so, not so. I mean, but I do have good news, and maybe it's a start. This November, the state of Georgia will have the Green Party on the ballot. So, 7 lucky bells of happiness and good luck to the Green Party, which happens to be the only existing real progressive People's Party. Don't hold your breath waiting for the capitulating raisin balls, Bernie Sanders and his organization, Our Revolution, to create that new third progressive People's Party. Do not hold your breath waiting. Please. Okay. Go back. All right. We'll go to the next subject. I have my material saved where the Eagle Beak Control Freak Geek, the scumbag himself, Mark Zuckerberg, cannot fuck with my material for the show, like he did when I used to keep it on Facebook Messenger. Nope, you can't touch it. He is infringing on our First Amendment rights more than ever before, Mark Zuckerberg. More than ever before. It's getting worse and worse. And he does own Instagram, but he's doing it very heavily on Facebook itself, involving not my groups, but involving my pages. I don't know if I guess it involves everyone else's pages, because he constantly changes the program, the format for the pages. Not that he changes it for the better and makes improvements. He does it for the sake of change, to display his obsession with control. It really sucks. It's really horrible. all the glitches that I encounter dealing with my Progressive Discussions Facebook page and the other page I have, which is New Age Mysticism and Healing. It's incredible. But luckily, Progressive Discussions happens to be on YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. So I'm happy about that. And I did it for a reason, because of Zuckerberg constantly trying to bust my balls, getting under my skin. Okay. Yeah, let me try to pick the most trivial, progressively going to the most severe. Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to open a share screen so I can share it with you. There you go.
Wealthy celebrities in California are now catching a lot of heat for wasting huge amounts of water at their gigantic mansions, of course. And it's leading to backlash because we're still dealing with a very serious historic drought. But should we be mad at them, or is there someone else to blame? We'll get to that in just a moment, but first, here are the details. Comedian Kevin Hart, for instance, two of the Kardashian sisters, actors Sylvester Stallone and NBA player Dwayne Wade were among some of the biggest violators of their local water restrictions in Southern California as the state experiences its third year in a drought. So look, if you have a massive property with landscaping, of course, it's going to cost a lot of money to maintain it. It's going to cost, or it's going to lead to a lot of water usage to keep that landscaping intact. And I think that's what's going on here. The celebrities were among the more than 2,000 customers who recently were issued notices of exceedance by the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District, indicating that they had surpassed 150% of their monthly water budgets at least 4 times since the agency declared a drought emergency at the end of last year. So I think it's important to understand what the drought emergency entails, what the restrictions are. They're pretty terrible, I gotta be honest. Because if you're an ordinary person who might have like a nice garden and that's where you get your pleasure in life, your garden's probably dead now. And I know that after spending a ton of money on rose bushes for my mother's garden, they're now all gone. So Las Virgenes on June 1st, I don't live in Las Virgenes, by the way, but this impacts a lot of people in Los Angeles County. Las Virgenes on June 1st imposed severe stage 3 restrictions in an effort to achieve an unprecedented 50% reduction in consumption due to a water shortage emergency. The rules limit outdoor watering to 1 day per week, with only 8 minutes per station on the designated day. So Las Virgenes serves some of the fanciest and richest people. It's a wealthy area. And among the addresses that received notices was an $18 million Hidden Hills property listed under the name of former NBA star Dwayne Wade that exceeded its allocated water budget in June by more than 1,400%, or 90,000 gallons. That was actually an improvement over May, when the property exceeded its budget by 489,000 gallons, more than any other customer. They claim that they had an issue with their pool, which is why their water consumption was so high, but they're getting it fixed, and they're also implementing other safeguards to prevent excessive water use. And we have other examples, but John, I wanted to give you a chance to jump in as someone who cares deeply and talks regularly about climate change and the impact that it has on droughts and things like that.
Well, of course, these celebrities are doing this because, after all, they're better than us. They're more important than us regular folks. Instead of issuing warnings, when are they going to slap them with fines? Why? Because they're multi-millionaires many times over. And of course, the NBA star cares the least, obviously, because he's probably a young guy playing in the NBA. And, you know, young people that are wealthy and perhaps famous, well, they just got to have what they got to have. I continue.
Well, I have to say that I'm disappointed because, a couple of years ago when celebrities were singing Imagine, I began to think that they were in it with us, that they wanted to be a part of the solution. But it turns out, oh no, we're peasants and their imperial manners need to be green and luscious as we're losing our damn rose bushes, okay? Your mom can't have rose bushes because I guess Kevin Hart needed an extra 2,000 gallons. I don't know. Look, if they can get away with it because the law isn't particularly stringent and the fines aren't severe, then they're going to continue to do it. And because they're rich, if the fines aren't proportional to your income, then you're just going to pay the fine. It's a cost of doing gardening business, I guess, or filling your pool or your many hot tubs, or God knows what else they do with water. But this is serious. This is an area where I think public shaming potentially could help. Not specifically because a few celebrities using too much water is the core issue with water use in California. That's definitely not the case. But if it gets people to start thinking about water use and how severe it is, I think that's important. I think this is something that we need to be talking about more often, whether it's focusing on some celebrities or there was a great episode of John Oliver's show like a month ago about the Colorado River. Like, we need to start to get ready in the popular consciousness for this issue because it's only going to get worse from here on out. And while those water restrictions right now might seem severe, imagine in 10 years or in 20 years if we don't take this seriously. Like, we live in LA. This is not an area that is by nature supposed to have millions and millions of people living in it. We have by force temporarily made that possible, but it's only going to sustain for so long unless we find ways to be way more careful with energy use, with water use, and all of that.
So let's talk about what the penalties are, because I agree with you in that it's not high enough for incredibly wealthy people for it to really make a difference. For them, I think it would make a huge difference for ordinary people, especially in Los Angeles where the cost of living is astronomical. But the penalties include an additional charge of up to $10 per water unit based on how many times customers exceed their water budgets. Those who receive a third or subsequent penalty will have to install, and this is like my worst nightmare, a flow restriction device. Okay, The reason why I say it's my worst nightmare is because.
Oh no.
Can we just acknowledge that, yeah, okay, these are rich people, so I know that no one's crying a river for them. I totally get that.
Well, I'll say something that would make me shiver my timbers. I'll tell you right now. Water flow restriction. I despise low flow shower heads. I despise it. I specifically have a high volume, super strong, imported from Italy, high volume shower head. Now let's see what Anna says.
They can afford
But residents in California, meaning just normal people, including celebrities, I'm including them in this group of normal people, non-business water use, let's just put it that way, accounts for 10% of the water use in the state. 10%, a total of 10%. I just want you to really take that in, okay? And when the state government tells you, or the local government tells you, as an individual, that they're gonna restrict the flow of water to you if you use a little too much, it's a little infuriating when you look at the agriculture industry in California and find out that they account for 40% of the water usage. And so you have companies like Nestle selling water from California to other states, bottled water, okay? You have almond farmers who farm almonds here in California that takes up a lot of water. And they actually export a lot of that product to Asian countries, in particular China. And so it's a big business. And so water use, when it comes to that, why is that not the primary focus? So yes, I think that there could be a lot of water waste when it comes to these massive estates that these celebrities own. But my concern, as is always the case with climate action, is this overwhelming focus on individuals as opposed to industries that are contributing to waste, contributing to climate change, contributing to the drought. Those are the issues that I have.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And look, this is hardly the first time that we've talked specifically about Nestle's abuse, of water here in California. You're totally right. I think that it's important for people to be a part of the solution because I believe that's important. It has an outsized effect beyond the actual contribution. I think it can lead to people prioritizing these issues when making political decisions, including which candidates to support and all that. But I definitely agree that it's also used by the other side, the corporations, as a dodge to get people to believe falsely that it is primarily on them. At the same time, I would not worry about the celebrities. I do not believe anyone is putting a flow limiter on Sylvester Stallone's pipes. I don't think he's ever going to go to fill his pool and it's going to take 6 months or anything. Yeah, we'll see if they ever get fined or whatever.
I'm not worried about the celebrities. I'm worried about them doing it to us, like normal.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally fair. And look, the longer we wait in doing the far more numerically significant regulations of corporations, the more likely it is that there's going to be more stringent regulations on regular people.
Yep. One final thing I wanted to show you, because this graphic really did blow my mind. It shows you the agriculture industry and what uses up the most water. And the top water user, alfalfa crops. So in California, the country's largest producer of alfalfa, roughly 70% of the state's crop gets used by dairy cows. So beef cattle also consume increasing amounts of alfalfa to increase their fat content right before slaughter.
Yeah, I blame the cows. They're greedy, honestly. I think that they're screwing us over and they need to be stopped.
Those damn cows and their alfalfa. We're all suffering the consequences. But anyway,
it's a good thing there are carnivores to eat the cows because that's the only thing that's going to stop them from eating more alfalfa.
And drink the milk, right? Because these are dairy cows and all that. So
these are the conclusions I've come to.
These are the conclusions. Do with that information what you may.
Oh boy. Well, us lower 98% of the population, after all, we don't count. We don't matter. We never mattered since 1776. Your precious founding fathers were wealthy real estate tycoons that owned plantations and slaves, by the way. And the only people that could really vote are rich white men, which included the founding fathers. So, yeah, we don't count. Now, these companies are like Anna Kasparian mentioned Nestle's taking California water, bottling it, and selling it outside of California, right? And then almond growers exporting California almonds all over, using a lot of water. Now, getting to alfalfa, did you know that alfalfa, it's funny that all the alfalfa is going to livestock when it should be going to us. Alfalfa, which is a member of the legume family, beans, peas, lentils, has the longest root system of any plant on earth, which can tap into deep earth minerals. And the alfalfa is self-fertilizing Okay, does not need to be fertilized by the farmer. It's self-fertilizing. It's a perennial, keeps coming back. And it happens to be, let me think, it happens to be the second most nutritious land food, land plant on earth. Second to moringa. Second to the moringa tree. That's how great alfalfa is. And all those young alfalfa grass, you know, when it sprouts, not the sprouts people put in their salad, but when it becomes a grass. When it becomes a young alfalfa grass, that grass can be juiced, freeze-dried into a fine powder, and sold for people to put in their smoothies, you know, possibly combine it with moringa powder. Super high nutrition. It really is super high nutrition. The only people that can't consume alfalfa are people with lupus, autoimmune disease, lupus erythematosus, discord lupus of the skin. It flares up the lupus condition. But like I said before, 98%ers we don't count. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see. All right, let's go here. Let's see if this is an article or a video. No, no, it's an article. So I have to do some extra work here. Oh, well. But it's a serious topic. Okay, here we go. What happened? I just had it. Oh. Excuse me, people. Let's try this again. Now what? Oh, now we're here. Okay, this has to do with U.S. See, they're forcing their advertisement on me. U.S. rents hit a record high for the 17th month in a row. All right, by Anna Beatty from CNN Business, August 24, 2022. Oh, there is a video here. Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's great to hear.
We were in the thick of it with the autism diagnosis for my sons. There's definitely a correlation between my mental wellness and quality of sleep. My sleep number 360 smart bed is an investment in me. I can meet everyone's needs, especially my own needs.
For millions of Americans, paying rent means a balancing act.
Yeah, I pay it every month. I don't pay it on time. I pay it when I get it.
Erlene Braggs and her two kids have been in the Chicago apartment for a little more than 3 years. She says she's making more money than she ever has, but it doesn't feel like it.
It basically seems like those little stimulus checks that they gave us, they basically collecting it all back. Sometimes I have to not do one thing or not pay something in the full amount just to make sure something else is covered and then catch back up on that the next round.
She's not alone either. Across the United States, inflation is at its highest levels in 4 decades as rents have hit record highs this year, and mortgages have seen week-to-week increases not seen since the 80s. According to a new report from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, more than 10 million renters say they're not caught up on rent as of March, the highest proportion in Black communities, where it's over 1 in 5 renters. Down from peak pandemic levels, but still higher than all other racial demographics, and as federal rental aid stemming from the pandemic begins to run out, it could get worse.
I don't even know how people are surviving in some situations. The inflation has constantly been going up. That hasn't stopped. And this year we've seen it really hit the sky, but wages have not went up with those.
Which means it's not just rent. Marielle Vaughn took public transport almost 15 miles just to get free food.
It's crazy. Everything is up high. You got to make a decision whether or not you're going to pay your rent or go buy some food.
Rents rising, plus added costs from inflation, for many have disrupted what were hard-earned solutions from a pandemic.
Seeing the impact that it's had on people who we have helped stabilize, it has been a challenge to have to shift that again, right? Your food cost is up. How do we rebudget that? That has been the biggest challenge, in addition to the volume, the increase in volume we've seen in the last 2 weeks.
This is my room.
For many families, the challenge comes from keeping up.
I'm going to cry. To fill my tank up is $80. When I first bought my truck, a fill up was $43. Everything is going straight to bills, and like everything is a bill. I mean, I just feel like I be robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know.
And for Braggs, making ends meet is as much about her audience as it is a payment on the first of the month.
Just striving day to day to make sure that they fine, let them see how hard they mom work, so that they can know that when they get older, you know, that, hey, this wasn't no joke. My mom did this all by herself. Because it's just me and them.
Well, forget about the American dream. The American dream is bullshit. The American dream was only meant to be for the rich. I mean, I know that we look at landlords as being greedy and heartless, and have the mentality of a corporate American CEO, but I think it's much higher than that. I think because of our corrupt politics that caused this inflation to begin with, that it's hitting landlords very hard, and therefore they turn around and have to pass the costs onto the tenant. And if the tenant doesn't make a living wage with good benefits, they can't pay this rent. And how many Americans really do make a living wage? No, they don't come close. They don't come close. And $15 an hour, by the time it becomes a reality for a minimum wage, the cost of living would have far surpassed $15 an hour. It's not going to work. Even with a married couple making $15 an hour, it won't work. So forget about the American dream. People do not have much or any surplus cash to enjoy life. They really don't. So, more people. Anyway, people must be very busy. They must be very busy today on 9/11. 9/11. Okay, let me get back to All right, let me try this out.
As requested, the
Share the screen.
As requested, the DOJ has now released a mostly unredacted version of the affidavit explaining, the rationale for raiding Mar-a-Lago several weeks ago. There is still a significant amount that has not been revealed, although even inside of the affidavit, the explanation as to what sections would need to remain redacted, it's actually pretty interesting too, and we're going to dive into all of the details. But first of all, we found out that 14 of the 15 boxes that were retrieved from Trump earlier this year by the National Archives and Record Administration contained nearly 200 documents with classification markings, and we now have more granularity about how classified they were. There were 67 confidential documents, 92 secret documents, and 25 top secret documents. Now, these are obviously very important legally, but also these are important pieces of documentation. So you'll be shocked to find out that they were unfolded, intermixed with other records, and otherwise improperly identified. They were just thrown about and mixed in with other things. So as we've talked about along the way, as we've got more details, Trump cared so much about these documents that he was willing to break the law to keep them, to obstruct an investigation to hold on to them, even after he had handed back hundreds of other classified documents, and yet cared so little that he just left them mixed with Post-it notes and recipes and stuff, I guess. But anyway, that's the first bit of information we have. We also know about why they were so worried about obstruction, as well as a number of other details that we'll get into. But Cenk, first of all, what do you think about them releasing an affidavit?
Yeah, of course it wasn't going to help Trump, and he's going to tell them to release it, and then they're about to release it. He's like, don't do it, okay? I'm really worried about it. Okay, so yeah, we know you knucklehead. Look, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not sure that in my personal life, I have ever met someone as dumb as Donald Trump. So you thought they wouldn't be missing top secret nuclear documents. The government just wouldn't be missing it. And then when you realized they were missing it and they asked you 3 different times, you thought you could still hide it from them, even though they knew you had it. And then you thought the releasing of the affidavit showing what a clown you are and how many top secret documents you kept would help you. And then on the last day, you realize, oh no, that's not gonna help me. Guys, he's just unbelievably, unfathomably unintelligent. Look, if he wasn't born into a $413 million wealth, take this in a lot of ways, maybe people get offended or whatever, but at right wing, left wing, but he'd be at a street corner somewhere. Okay, and he'd be mumbling about the same things. Deep state. No, Obama's marriage certificate. Right? Like, no, dumb as a rock, and he cannot help himself. Lifelong criminal.
Yeah, I mean, also just reading about how he handled documents generally when they weren't ripped up and flushed in the toilet at the White House and the Oval Office. It was also apparently he would take them out and show them to different diplomats, like show and tell. This is a Washington Post reported that, I believe, in the last couple of days, and also he didn't have respect for the documents in the Oval Office itself. So it'd be like, yeah, we'll put this one there, we'll put that one there. Like, again, this is a man who's never gone to the library, has never had to check out a book or look through a magazine or an article, and then realize he can't actually take that stuff home. The periodicals, they stay there, that kind of thing. Obviously doesn't know the Dewey Decimal System. Neither do a lot of our viewers from the Gen Z era, but so yeah, I think it's good they released it. I just wanted to say that. I think it is good they released it given the fact that it's a former president. I don't think they're trying to appease Republicans. I think they know they'll never do that, and we know they'll never do that. And from reading it, it seems like, yeah, these are
the potential violations of the sections regarding classified documents or other documents, not just classified documents that you cannot remove, that could face charges. You could face charges for doing. So I'm glad they did it. Nothing seems like insanely crazy. It's just backing up what we've already known.
Yeah, John, one more thing before you tell us the rest of the story. Two. First, I realized, this might be the first plausible defense of Donald Trump, that he's so dumb that he thought it was like coloring books or something. Like he thought, no, I mean, the nuclear secrets, of course I could take them home. Top secret, it doesn't matter. I was once president. That means I own America and I own everything. Like, that's not implausible. Like, because there's no reason to take them home other than to sell them. Period. Unless your IQ is near 20 and you can't distinguish like letters and documents from one another, and you think everything is yours because you're a mental little person or whatever we're calling it these days, okay? And then the Oval Office, to be fair to him, Francesca, you say, oh yeah, he would dump things in the toilet after ripping them. Maybe he thought that's what the Oval Office was.
Just a giant toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
shaped like one.
You've described him as egomaniacal and all that. That's the other potential explanation as to why he'd want to have them, other than potentially selling them. Literally just to have them, because they're his and he wants to have them. He wants to show them off. He wants to know that they're there. Possession for possession's sake seems like, I think, a very plausible reason why someone who believes that $1 billion isn't enough and you need more billions of dollars. I'll never understand that way of thinking, but I think it tracks for him. But there were several things, first of all, that were not in this disclosed affidavit. No more information about the exact content of the documents, including as to whether any had anything to do with nuclear weapons or energy production or anything like that. We don't know. But what we do know are something having to do with why they felt they needed to raid Mar-a-Lago and why some parts of the affidavit remain redacted. I think both of those parts are interesting. So they said in the affidavit, there is probable cause to believe that additional documents that contain classified national defense intelligence or that are presidential records subject to record retention requirements currently remain at the premises. There's also probable cause to believe that evidence of obstruction will be found at the premises. So they're not specific about what do they mean that there's evidence of obstruction? But that was one of the reasons they felt they needed to go. They do say that they had earlier received a written statement signed by at least one Trump lawyer back on June 3rd, saying that to the best of their knowledge, there had been a search of Mar-a-Lago and all classified material sought in a prior subpoena had already been returned. That statement, they say, along with visuals from surveillance camera footage of the property that federal officials captured and witness interviews, were said to be part of the concerns among investigators about obstruction. So if they had signed a statement saying, we searched, we have nothing else, and yet they had surveillance camera footage as well as witnesses attesting to the fact that there were still documents there, then that could potentially count as obstruction. The lawyer's legal statements were literally attempting to obstruct further investigation in this area. And it's also another reason why Trump might have thought he could take the documents because I'm president, I could do whatever. But the lawyers knew that he couldn't. They knew that it was illegal, and they repeatedly lied about the existence of the documents to the DOJ. But in addition to that, you also have why so much of the document is still redacted, and that's pretty interesting. They say the materials the government marked for redaction must remain sealed to protect the safety and privacy of a significant number of civilian witnesses. So significant number of witnesses, in addition to law enforcement personnel, as well as to protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation and to avoid disclosure of grand jury material in violation of the federal rules of criminal procedure. So they obviously want to protect the identity of law enforcement personnel, but they don't just have a witness. It's not just Jared. It's a significant number of witnesses. And they go on to say there's very good reason to believe that if those people were identified, or if even information about them was made clear, they could be identified. And then there would be witness tampering and threats potentially that would hamper the investigation going forward.
Yeah, they're treating him pretty much like a mob boss because that's kind of what he is. The government is significantly worried that the former president of the United States would harm civilian witnesses against him, or his supporters would. I mean, that's where we are today in America. And 40% of the country goes, "Oh yeah, baby, yeah!" Like they're on for that. And they like, there's nothing you can say to convince them. You know, this knucklehead let a Ukrainian national into Mar-a-Lago. You know why? Because she pretended that she was a Rothschild, which it doesn't even make any sense. Because she said her name was Anna de Rothschild. That's not even a Rothschild. That's a de Rothschild. Okay, and of course he just let her walk in. She played golf with him because the idiot thought she was a Rothschild.
She had the laser, the space laser. Was like, "Do you want to take a look and see how it works?"
And Trump, because he's a conspiracy theorist and an anti-Semite and all that, probably thought, "Oh, Rothschild runs the world. Let her in." Right? And so, look, but to be fair to Trump, another one of our viewers, T-Pain89 on Twitch, came up with another plausible theory why he might have had these top secret documents if it wasn't to steal them and to sell them. He said he stole the nuke codes to nuke the hurricanes. # stop the madness. And Florida does get hurricanes, and he did think it was a good idea to nuke hurricanes. So put 2 and 2 together. You still get an idiot.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more.
Okay. Oh, well, Trump will go down in history as a person known out of infamy. Not necessarily, not a day of infamy. Well, maybe when he was sworn in, when he started his presidential administration, that could be considered a day in infamy. So we have 3 days of infamy connected to the United States. Incredible. 3 days of infamy. All right, let's see what we got here. Well, let's try this one.
Trump and his lawyer.
Whoa. They make me go through the whole process. Here at StreamYard. Trump again. Here we go.
Trump and his lawyers appear to have accidentally admitted that Trump broke the law by removing classified documents from the White House. Now, how? How did he accidentally concede? Well, a story that we reported recently, Trump's legal team had filed a motion on Monday of this week arguing to the court that they should appoint a so-called special master to determine which materials the DOJ can review as evidence due to executive privilege. So he's claiming executive privilege. But there is something that you can kind of extrapolate from the lawsuit and the way it's worded. The argument from Trump that some of the documents are subject to executive privilege protections indicates that those documents are official records that he is not authorized to keep and should have turned over to the National Archives at the end of the administration. The motion, in that regard, appeared to concede that Trump violated one of the criminal statutes listed on the warrant used by the FBI to search the former president's Mar-a-Lago resort, and that's 18 U.S.C. 2071, concerning the unlawful removal of government records. And experts argue that he's acknowledging this in that these documents are in his possession. And that he has this claim of executive privilege with these sensitive documents. And so in a sense, him filing the lawsuit can be used as a piece of evidence against him, which I think is just super fascinating.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is most amazing is that, like, at every step along this way, we've gradually, every few days, gotten a little bit more information about, exactly what the DOJ is planning, exactly what Trump had, the process and timeline of how different sets of documents, including classified documents, were transferred back to the government. And all along that path, everyone except for Trump and his team, although apparently pretty much Trump, some of this information literally only he had. He personally went through these boxes and all that. They're at least claiming now that he almost single-handedly had knowledge about a number of these documents and was not even allowing aides to look into some of these boxes. So he knew all along exactly what he had. We've all been trying to keep up, in some cases speculate. And along the way, there have been so many things thrown out that have just mysteriously vanished along the way, explanations that tried to get out ahead of what the DOJ was going to do. So remember when the FBI was totally going to be planting things? Mm-hmm. What happened to that? Trump himself, by the way, was saying that. He knew all along exactly what he had. And when he would come out and say they might plant things, at that point, we had to consider, well, okay, they're probably not going to do that. But what if he has nothing? That is going to seem really suspicious, but he knew exactly what he had. He knew that he had literally boxes and boxes and boxes, hundreds of classified documents, and he lied. The right-wing media picked it up. They ran with it gladly. There's been no self-reflection since then. Like, oh, geez, we really got ahead of ourselves on the whole FBI's definitely planting nuclear document stuff. And now not only there was nothing of that, but the fact that he's admitting that he had it. He's admitting that he transferred back some classified documents 7 months ago and then willingly chose to hold on to hundreds more. Like he can claim that this is political, that they wouldn't have done this against another figure and that's non-falsifiable, but he can't claim that he didn't break the law. The only question at this point is, will there be any consequences for it? But we already know that he broke the law literally hundreds of times.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And the initial talking point of, oh, the FBI is planting evidence at Mar-a-Lago was automatically and simultaneously contradicted with Trump also alleging that he had declassified the documents. So it was like, did the FBI plant evidence, or did you just declassify the documents and we're supposed to forget that you said that there was planted evidence? Like, none of it
did he
made
not
sense.
have anything, or did what he have, was it already declassified, or does it not even matter because he can automatically after the fact declassify it? Like, it's very much like the January 6th people were patriotic, except at the same time they were Antifa. Depends on any given moment. He loves them, but they were traitors. They were leftists. They can have their cake and eat it simultaneously, like the exact same moment.
You gotta give Trump and his team a little bit of credit because they definitely give their supporters options. It's like a buffet of talking points, and they get to cherry pick whichever one they want to use to minimize the seriousness of what's really happening here. What he did was illegal. What he did was take incredibly sensitive, top secret classified documents out of the White House, and he took it home with him in an insecure place, like a place where insecure might not be the right word, unsecure, where someone can easily get access to it. Like there's surveillance footage. Yeah, just like walking. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, he's a definition of insecure. But nonetheless, like I just think, as I've said a million times before, for me, I don't really care if it's a Democrat or Republican. I do care about ensuring that everyone is treated equally by our justice system. So if someone in government is breaking the law, they should be prosecuted. And everything that we're reading indicates that the DOJ gave Trump so much leeway. I mean, this has been going on well before we found out about it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, just please give us the documents. Please just give us the documents. They show up in January, he gives them the boxes. Then they find out through an FBI informant, no, there's more. So they start negotiating with him in May. And then finally they go over there in June. They retrieve more documents. They find out there's more because also there is a paper trail. It's not like it's impossible to find out that there are more classified documents missing. And they gave Trump 2 months to comply and he wouldn't. So they did the raid, and that's the way it worked out. So anyone who's arguing that this is somehow persecution because people hate Trump. It's ridiculous. He broke the law and he is now suffering the consequences because despite all the leeway he was given, leeway that we would not be given as ordinary people, he just wouldn't comply. He thinks he's above the law. He never thinks he's going to suffer consequences. And even this, I'm still holding my breath because I don't know what the outcome is going to be. It could be that he's completely guilty of everything he's accused of, and he doesn't spend a single day behind bars. That's how justice works in this country, and it's pretty gross.
Yeah, we have to, engage in the speculation we always do. Will there be consequences? Not is there justification for consequences, because it seems indisputable that at this point they are, that he definitely took the documents. He knowingly withheld incredibly sensitive documents after multiple warnings not to. By withholding them, he definitely obstructed the investigation into those documents. These facts are simply indisputable. And the fact that we can say them, and we know that the right will never accept those things, even though if Hillary Clinton had taken a classified Post-it note, I mean, it would be the only thing that you heard about for 10 years. We're held hostage by their unreasonableness. And even like the commentators who are weighing in on this now, the main counter argument to there being legal consequences is, I don't know, these people are crazy. And so if they do anything to Trump, then God only knows what these people are going to do. Well, crazy is going to be crazy. The question is, how often in the past has judicially appeasing Donald Trump helped America or the American people? How many crimes did he get free already? And did that ever satiate him? Was he ever satisfied? You can't placate him. It only emboldens him. And so I'm sick of those op-eds advocating that we have to leave him alone or else someone crazy will target the FBI. They're gonna do that either way at this point.
Totally. And not only does it fail to appease Trump, it sends a terrible message to Trump and to any future administration that might consider engaging in criminality. Why wouldn't you if you know that there really won't be consequences in the end, despite overwhelming evidence?
Okay. They do a great job, Young Turks do. True progressives representing the underground, real progressive media. Okay, let us go back and see. I know we have more. Okay, let us do. Oh, let's try this one.
The real threat to human.
The idiot buffoon of Fox News, Tucker Carlson. The right-wing extremist. All right. Give me one moment while I share the screen. And here we go. Tucker Carlson, here we go.
The real threat to human civilization is not global warming. It never was global warming. The real threat to people is global cooling, otherwise known as winter.
That was Tucker Carlson pretending as if, no, we should actually be concerned about global cooling, which is why the Mendenhall Glacier has been melting, which is why the sea level has been rising because of the ice caps melting. I mean, climate change isn't coming. Climate change is here. We see it all the time. We see it every day. To the point, by the way, where even Republican voters are acknowledging that it is in fact very real. What's amazing about Tucker Carlson is he's stuck in the early 2000s when Republicans were still in denial about the existence of climate change. But here we are, Tucker Carlson. I mean, Bush wanted No Child Left Behind, but what happened to Tucker?
What happened to Tucker? He lost his mind. That's what happened to Tucker. His brain cells got fried. Poor Tucker. Well, at least Fox News has him. Nobody else would take him. Oh, I would just like to say, and I'm very happy. I salute you. Chris Cuomo will be starting his new job at News Nation. Yes, the News Nation Network. Starting, I believe it's October 3rd. It's the beginning of October. He starts his first show of his first season with a new company, News Nation. And I'm very happy for him. I've been watching his videos, both promotional videos and personal videos over on Instagram. And I'm really very happy for him. I mean, and from what I understand, he has a lot more freedom to say what he needs to say on News Nation. And just want to ring some bells for Mr. Chris Cuomo, the younger brother of former New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo, who was screwed by the politically correct neoliberals. What was that, State Attorney General? The woman screwed him over. It was their word against his word. There was no concrete evidence. He should not have resigned. They probably, the Democrat Party probably pressured the hell out of him, nagging him like a woodpecker on a tree, knowing how the Democrat Party is. He should have quit the Democrat Party. See what the Democrat Party did to him? Neoliberalism, the same thing they did to the leader of all progressives, as far as I know, Bernie Sanders. They screwed him over. The DNC screwed over Bernie Sanders twice. It was very obvious. He did not leave the party and stay on the ballot as a progressive independent or just simply join the Green Party. No, he didn't do that. He listened to Democrats and he endorsed Joe Biden. And in the first time he got screwed, he endorsed Hillary Clinton. He listened to the Democrats. He was brainwashed by the Democrats. And the same politically correct neoliberalism screwed over Andrew Cuomo. That's a single man just trying to meet a girl because he didn't have a girlfriend. Big damn deal. A single, straight, heterosexual, white, Caucasian male trying to find a new girlfriend. Heaven forbid. There was no sexual harassment. Okay. It was all a bunch of lies, a bunch of propaganda by all these women that came forth that just simply made statements without evidence. Okay. All right. I'm winding down. Well, I guess you would call it winding down towards the last few or several. Let me try this one. Well, first, let me see if it's an article. It's an article. I got off easy so far, but not anymore. No videos here. But this is exciting. This article is worth talking about. It's very quiet today. Maybe because it is 9/11. There we go. Okay, folks. This is really exciting. Scientists grow synthetic embryo with brain and beating heart without eggs or sperm. Now, many of you people, regardless of what political ideology you're from or religious upbringing, many of you people would scoff at this article and call it Frankenstein mad science, but there's a very positive outcome of this type of science, so-called mad science, as you might call it. All right. There's an image of it. All right. Got it. Scientists from the University of Cambridge have created model embryos from mouse stem cells that form a brain, a beating heart, and the foundations of all other organs of the body. It represents a new avenue for recreating the first stages of life. The team of researchers led by Professor Magdalena Zernica-Getz developed the embryo model without eggs or sperm. Instead, they used stem cells, the body's master cells, which can develop into almost any cell type in the body. By guiding the 3 types of stem cells found in early mammalian, that means mammal, development to the point where they started interacting, the researchers mimicked a natural process in the lab. The scientists were able to get the stem cells to talk to each other by inducing the expression of a particular set of genes and establishing a unique environment for their interactions. Okay. Here's a quote from Magdalena Zernica-Getz. It's just unbelievable that we've got this far. This has been the dream of our community for years and a major focus of our work for a decade, and finally we've done it. The stem cells self-organize into structures that progress through the successful developmental stages until they had beating hearts and the foundations of the brain. They also had the yolk sac, where the embryo develops and gets nutrients from in its first weeks. Unlike other synthetic embryos, the Cambridge developed models reached a point where the entire brain, including the anterior portion, began to develop. This is a further point in development that has been achieved in any other stem cell derived model. According to the team, their results could help researchers understand why some embryos fail while others go on to develop into a healthy pregnancy. In addition, the results could be used to guide the repair and development of synthetic human organs for transplantation. And this is the point I brought up, folks, at the beginning of this article. This is exactly what's on my mind. The study, which is the result of more than a decade of research that progressively led to more and more complex embryo-like structures was reported on August 25th, 2022 in the journal Nature. There you go. Well, what could happen with a mouse embryo? I mean, with a mouse stem cell, could happen with a human. They're both mammals. There you go. Incredible. Incredible. Is that? This is Professor Zernika Getz, Magdalena Zernika Getz, University of Cambridge. All right. And I congratulate her and her team. This is, I mean, who knows? She might receive a Nobel Prize for this. She deserves it. Just think of it. All the people that are on long waiting lists to receive organ transplants, where they have to wait for a compatible organ from a human being that has sadly passed away. The organ has to be compatible with them in terms of blood type, maybe other factors. And they're on this long waiting list. And when they finally receive that kidney or kidneys that are a perfect match for them, guess what? Because it comes from another human being, because of the DNA, whatever, they have to take anti-rejection drug for the rest of their life. They have to take an anti-rejection drug. Now, I know it's better than dying, but that sucks. But in this case, an organ can easily be grown for the individual that needs a transplant. Easily be grown. And they will not need to take an anti-rejection drug. Now, how exciting is that? I say that's damn exciting. Okay. Got some great material here on September 11, 2022. Let's see how many I went through so far. Oh, here's the Chislers Hall of Shame. Now this guy.
Did you do anything wrong?
No, I didn't do anything wrong, but
this guy's a piece of shit. This is a car dealer in Ontario, Canada, that blatantly is dishonest and doesn't care. And doesn't care if he's exposed. No shame, no remorse. Get the screen. Okay, here we go.
Did you do anything wrong?
no, I didn't do anything wrong, but now it's going to cost me.
Diane Reed's Hyundai is missing something required on every Canadian vehicle, something stolen while in the care of the Orangeville Hyundai dealership owned by Phil Richards.
It's out of our control. We don't control theft.
Leaving Reed's family out on their own.
She only has herself to blame for that.
The vehicle needed a new alternator. It was towed in because it wouldn't run. And while waiting for that part over the weekend at the dealership, the vehicle's catalytic converter was stolen.
Unfortunately, your Bear Cruise was targeted.
The phone message from the dealership pointed out it's not the first time they've been hit.
We've seen this about 5 months ago. We had, unfortunately, about 3 taken as well.
Catalytic converters are a hot commodity, stolen for the high value of their precious metals. Diane's daughter, Jamie Lee, says the repair will be expensive.
They said it would be around $2,000 before installation.
That's a lot of money for an item that was not necessary.
Absolutely.
She and her mom were told it's their responsibility to pay for the replacement.
It's pretty hard to stop a thief that wants to steal something. I don't care what you do.
The Hyundai dealership has no gates or barriers, even though its customers' cars have been hit before. What about security video?
No, there's no security video.
I think it's pretty bad on their part. They should have security so that you can watch, make sure that the cars aren't broken into.
Her daughter agreed and told the owner in person.
He told me to get out.
And the police were called eventually.
They were.
Richard says he did call police.
Did she threaten anybody?
Her behavior, she was aggressive and she did threaten a lawyer.
Since when is mentioning a lawyer a threat?
Jamie Lee posted her experience on Facebook, warning others they might not want to take vehicles here.
It was her demeanor.
Is everything on that Facebook post correct?
Absolutely correct.
Your company's not going to do anything to pay for the cost of what happened to her mom's vehicle in your care.
That's correct, based on her behavior and how she went about it.
Sean O'Shea, Global News, Orangeville, Ontario.
So, because someone is standing up for themselves and doing the right thing by telling him that he really lacks integrity and honesty, and the customer in this case is the victim, and he has contempt for his customers. Because of that, he calls the police and does not want to do anything to solve the issue because he did not like her attitude. Her attitude as a consumer that spoke up for herself. This cheap motherfucker, cheap, greedy motherfucker, doesn't want to spend money on security cameras or a fence, a barrier. Doesn't care. He's very nonchalant, and the way he trivialized the fact that things have been stolen from his dealership, and obviously he acts like he doesn't care. And because she stood up for herself, he called the police, which is not, she did not threaten him by mentioning the word lawyer. That is not a physical threat that deserves a call to the police. This dealership is our newest inductee into the Chiselers Hall of Shame. All right, let me check this one out. Hopefully it's not long. If it is long, then we'll just watch a portion of it. Good morning, my dear Masumi. Good morning. Good morning. And happy Monday to you. Let me get through this video, and then I will send you the information that I mentioned. But yes, good morning and happy Monday to you. It is now 5:25 a.m. Monday in Tokyo. Bear with me. Stay right there. Let's see if I have this.
Gents, there is nothing more beautiful than an old womanist living the last 40 years of their lives in regret and crying themselves to sleep at night when the consequences of "I don't need a man" and "I'm strong and independent" comes knocking at their doors. I revel in their pain and sorrow because when they were in their prime, they had no problem treating men like garbage and telling us how useless and less than we are. So when the wall comes for that ass and the results of their bad decisions come busting through their lives like Tyrone's mighty battering ram, am I not supposed to bathe in womanist tears? Gents have no remorse or sympathy for these women who, if the shoe was on the other foot, would laugh at us and have no shred of sympathy. So my brothers, today I found an article about a womanist who has led thousands if not millions of women down the path of self-destruction only to have regretted living the life she encouraged. Shout out to the tribe of men for posting this video, so I will give my take on it. And before I dive into the video, I will say that for the men who have no interest in marriage and relationships, you have to thank womanism. If it wasn't for womanism promoting being a 304 as being empowered, we would have had to marry a woman to get a little piece of wet vice grip. We would literally have to sign our freedom and future empire away just to bust one nasty nut. So womanism, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing women to be out here in these streets dishing out peace leave like we're at the homeless shelter. Without you leading the deaf, dumb, and blind to a life of secret misery, we cheek slayers would never be able to get stank without committing. Isn't it a beautiful thing? So let's dive into the article. The title of the article is Segs and the city writer Candace Bushnell, age 60, admits she regrets choosing a career over having children as she is now truly alone. Gents, doesn't that sound like music to your ears? Don't you feel like just dancing when she says she's truly alone? I feel so happy right now just to know that men win in the end. Yes, brothers, men will win in the end. As long as we focus on ourselves, on the grind, and stay away from committing to these cream gobblers, we can get the peace, quiet, and freedom we want. Gents, this is a small win for men, and we are going to hear more and more stories of lonely older XX regretting sipping the womanist Kool-Aid. What a time to be alive. Let's dive in. Her best-selling book and the racy TV series it inspired taught a generation of women that they could have it all. But Segs and the city creator Candace Bushnell, 60, have admitted that she regrets choosing a career over having children as she is now truly alone. The TV series starred Sarah Jessica Parker as a writer in New York who famously chooses her independence over motherhood. Miss Bushnell divorced her husband, ballet dancer Charles Askegaard, in 2012 and said it made her realize the importance of starting a family. The former Segs columnist, who was worth around 18 million pounds, told the Sunday Times, "When I was in my 30s and 40s, I didn't think about it. Then, when I got divorced and I was in my 50s, I started to see the impact of not having children and of truly being alone. I do see that people with children have an anchor in a way that people who have no kids don't." Speaking to the Sunday Times magazine, Candace explained that she didn't feel like dating after her 2012 divorce from her husband of 10 years to ballet dancer Charles Askegaard. All right, gents, the one thing with modern women, or women overall, is the fact that they weren't blessed with long-term planning or vision. So you're telling me that after 4 decades, she still didn't see the implications of what not having a child could have on the remainder of her life. I mean, I want to know how drunk off womanism Kool-Aid you have to be to realize that if you don't have kids, you're likely to end up lonely, especially if you don't have a man. And it's not like your kids will be with you throughout their adulthood. But when they have kids, you get to have your grandkids to keep you company. If not, then it's cats and box wine for the last 40 years of these women's lives. But they subscribe to womanism instead of the gents, and this is the result they have to show: cat foods and box wines. I feel nothing for them because they chose this. The struggle didn't choose them. They chose the struggle. And this woman has money. What about the other women who are broke and don't have a man or kids to help and support them? It's game over, and it is what it is. They had decades to get a man to settle down with and build a legacy, but nope, some of them didn't need a man, and others busted up their families to go ride the carousel and escape the patriarchy. So you think I'll care about what happens to them? Hell no, let them die alone. That's how I see it. And remember, she's the one who filed for divorce, not her husband, so have no shred of sympathy for this woman. Anyways, let's continue. Moving to Connecticut after her divorce, she admitted she went without sex for 5 years. It's not that long when you get to my age. I know women who have gone longer, she said. BS. I call BS on that one. There's no way she went 5 years and got no salami the entire time. There's just no way. Do you guys believe she actually went 5 years without getting stretched out by Chad? I don't believe that, but let's continue. The writer, who has now returned to New York, lives between her partner's penthouse suite on the Upper East Side and house in the Hamptons. However,
okay, what this pretty much talks about are the modern women affected by feminism, the sexual revolution, and the Helen Gurley Brown of Cosmopolitan and all the man-hating lesbians that convince women to put a man and family way on the back burner, actually put them in a closet up on a top shelf, and pursue a career. And these women were encouraged to act like men. Hold on. They were encouraged to act like men and to be obsessed with equality. Well, it backfired. To make a long story short, it backfired, and they got screwed out of a family life when they decided it's time to have a family and back off from their career and retire and so on and so forth. And now they're women who have high mileage, very high mileage, you know what I mean, track record. They have money, but they're low in the sexual market value, even though they delusionally think they're 21 years old. So that's what it's all about, you know. But that's another talk show. That is another talk show. Oh, hold on, please. Let me check something out. Oh man, I'm sneezing. Maybe it's the ragweed, perhaps. Phew. Fluffer Nutter, marshmallow fluff and lots of peanut butter? Question mark. I'm just giving my sister a sarcastic, funny answer. That's a very old commercial. Anyway, they canceled my Saturday appointment and made it for Monday at 6 p.m. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Let me get back to something. Okay. Instruction above. Instruction is above. Do not open up the YouTube channel. So, let me, I know I am down to, good old Jesse Ventura, Governor Jesse Ventura, former governor of the state of Minnesota and professional Hall of Fame professional wrestling legend. Two very hard-hitting videos by Jesse Ventura, and they will be the last serious topics. For the show here at September 11, 2022. Oh, man. Okay, that is the link above where it says StreamYard. So anyway, how is everyone doing? Very quiet. Very, very, very quiet. This September 11th on this September 11, 2022 on Progressive Discussions. Anyway, hold on. Give me a brief moment, very brief. Okay, I'm back. Oh. So, I might as well go to Jesse Ventura. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Jesse the Body Ventura, Governor Jesse Ventura. Today, I want to do a message to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I happened to see where she gave her assessment of solar energy.
Can we just say thank God for air conditioning? Let's talk about refrigerators. I personally like my refrigerator. I know you all like yours. What about washing machines and dryers? Lord, please God, don't make me scrub clothes in a bucket and have to hang them out on the line when we switch over to wind turbines and solar panels. I'm going to be really pissed off about that. I mean, how absurd is this? I like the lights on. I want to stay up later at night. I don't want to have to go to bed when the sun sets. It's so silly. I mean, all of this is absolutely insane.
Well, I want Marjorie, it's time, Marjorie, for you to go to school. Tune in to Die First, Then Quit, because I'll explain it to you. I got 2 homes now, one in Mexico, one here in the United States, that are both powered by solar. I have a washing machine that I can use at any time. I have stereos, I have televisions, they all work. And in fact, it goes beyond that, Marjorie. I power my 2 cars from the sun also. I have 2 Teslas, one for my wife, one for me, and we both power them by the sun through solar power. So please, Marjorie, if you're going to open your big yap and talk about something, try to educate yourself, maybe live with solar power for a little bit to learn more about it before you speak about it. Because I have everything, Marjorie, in my home, probably more than even you have. And I'm powered completely by solar. It doesn't cost me a dime for the electricity in my home. And guess what? If it goes to $5 a gallon, I don't have to pay that no more. I drive by the gas station. Why? Because I'm powered by solar power from the sun, Marjorie, the sun. You don't have to drill for it. And they told us, Marjorie, believe it or not, it's going to last us for 1 billion years. That's even longer, maybe, than you're going to live.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is dumber than a bag of rocks. There's no doubt about that. Dumber than a bag of rocks. Okay, got one more. We have one more. Jesse Ventura. Where are you? Okay, let me bring him up. The one last serious article / video of the show. Man, I can't get over how quiet it is. Drinking the Kool-Aid by Jesse Ventura. Let's see how we're doing. Here we go.
Hi, Governor Ventura here. Die first, then quit. I'll tell you today, I'm going to talk to a group of people out there. I hope some of them get this. And these are the voters out there in the United States of America who are still supporting Donald Trump and want to see him run for president in 2024 and run again. I hope some of these people tune in to Die First, Then Quit and hear my message to them. Years ago, there was this minister out in California by the name of Jim Jones. Jim Jones thought he was being persecuted, just like Donald Trump thinks he's being persecuted. This guy turned himself into a Jesus Christ-like figure, a leader, went out and fed baloney to a bunch of people, got them converted, and all these thousands of people believed he was the Messiah, the leader, and they believed he was being persecuted by the United States government just as they are. And he ran them off to Guyana, foreign country, South America, thinking they were going to some paradise down there to live forever and ever, amen, because they felt they were persecuted by the government and the people of the United States of America. Sound familiar, Trumpies? Does that message ring a bell with you? And eventually, what did they do? He convinced them to drink the Kool-Aid, the poison. That's where the term came from. And hundreds of them killed themselves because this guy asked them to do it. Somebody accepted the bullshit to the point where they drank poison and Kool-Aid and committed suicide at the behest of this demagogue leader, Jim Jones, who I believe you could substitute the name Donald Trump for. And it just seems to me we're repeating ourselves again. We got another demagogue out there who's even got more people under his thumb who will follow him blindly no matter what he does. And his latest escapade now is he says if he gets elected again, he's going to pardon all the people that took part in the January 6th insurrection to attempt a coup d'etat to overthrow our Constitution and overthrow our government and put him in as an authoritarian, almost dictator. Well, for all you Trump people, I want you to know I've lived through this before, this whole scenario. I'm of an age now where I've lived through many things and I'm seeing them again. And what I'm seeing here is something I lived through. I deployed overseas in the Navy. My second deployment, I spent months in the country of the Philippines. And they were ruled by a dictator supposedly elected over there by the name of Ferdinand Marcos. I saw this guy and how he operated in the Philippines under authoritarian rule. They weren't allowed to speak in public or criticize him any way, shape, or form, or they mysteriously disappeared or went to prison or all sorts of things like that. But the good thing that came out of the Marcos authoritarian dictatorship of the Philippines was the Philippine people eventually prevailed. And how did they prevail? Not with violence. They prevailed at the ballot box. They prevailed non-violently and got rid of authoritarian Ferdinand Marcos. So for all you people out there that cling to the hopes that Trump will regain power and who sit behind and look at him as the leader of our country, I know it's difficult to look at history because to follow Trump, you obviously don't. But I'm asking you, look at history, read about Ferdinand Marcos, and decide, is that what you want the United States to be? Which is what Trump is gunning for. A Supreme Court falling under authoritarian dictator, a Congress falling under an authoritarian dictator, because that's who you have in Donald Trump. Can't you people see that? You notice when he talks about things, it's my military, My generals, my country. It isn't ours, it's my. Think about that, all you Trumpies, for a minute. Think about it hard. Thanks.
All right, Jesse Ventura. I salute you on September 11, 2022. I want to say hello, good morning to Masumi from the outside of Tokyo, Japan. Good morning to Masumi, her first time on the show. Her first
Good
time.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
From Japan. My name is Masumi.
It's great. It's wonderful having you, and you have a very nice white background. I like that.
Sorry, I've never experienced until now.
Oh, you
it's
mean
the first time?
Live stream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm very happy to have you here. I know you said hello on the other live stream shows. You sent greetings by typing. I mean, you could still type if you, but you know, it's very nice to have you here talking and having you on video. And Masumi, if for those that are not familiar with her, she operates her own salon where she takes care of women's needs, you know, facials, eyelash work, things like that. Not cosmetology. Yeah, I guess a salon that caters to women. So do you do waxing? You know, removing woman's hair.
I got vaccine number 4.
No, not vaccine. Removing hair, removing woman's hair, body hair.
Oh. I see.
Yeah. Hold on, let me send you.
Sorry, I'm nervous now.
Yeah.
It's the first time.
I know.
Yeah.
Removing women's body hair. Okay, check the WhatsApp. I didn't see where, but anyway, I know you have to. You working today in the salon, right? Later.
Yes. My work is from 10 o'clock a.m.
10 a.m. And how many customers you have today?
Today is 4 customers.
Wow, you have a busy day. You
Yeah.
have a very busy day today.
I like to. Yeah. My customer like to be beautiful.
Yeah, I know, and you're there. You're the specialist to help them become beautiful within reason. I mean, if customer is very ugly, you know, you cannot do miracle. You cannot perform miracles.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You're gonna laugh. I'm gonna make you laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. Every day it's enjoying. I like my work.
That's good. That's good. And some days you have off. And some days you might have one customer. Some day you have today's busy. You have 4 customer.
Yes. My customer is capricious always.
Are they all in the same time of day, or are they the appointment is spread up far apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
In other words, the appointment, all the appointments early or you know, some are early, some are late.
Mm. Yeah. Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to spin the wheel. You're gonna laugh now. Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me spin it again.
Yeah. Thank you. Mm.
Hold the audience. Well, since it's so quiet, how many people are attending special events this Sunday, like barbecues, where it's not raining? Anybody out there attending special barbecues? It's really nobody's around. It's very quiet because today is the September 11th, you know, when the terrorists attacked the World Trade Center, you know, and
Yeah.
now if you want, you can go to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and turn the volume off, no volume. And if you want, you can type.
Type?
Type.
Mm.
If you want. If you feel more comfortable.
I don't understand what type to do.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Let me spin the wheel.
Yeah. I'm experience like this. I've never experienced.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think go out.
Nutrition.
Yeah.
Well, the most important thing about the nutrition today is the
Very sorry.
detoxification. And everything's okay. Detoxification is most important to everybody, and then antioxidants. So I will leave it at that for everyone. So how is your car? How is the Crown doing? Okay?
Yeah. Garage.
Oh, it's in the garage?
Garage? No.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? What do you have? Rented?
I like Crown. Toyota Crown. I like.
Yeah. My crown, my crown, my crown.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
You have rental car now?
Yeah. Mm, yeah. I'm using my car. Yeah. Go to and go to workplace.
Oh, so the Crown. Oh, you have the Toyota Crown, or are you using rental car now?
No. I bought my car.
Oh, you have your car with you. Now,
Yeah.
how are you feeling with your shoulder and your back?
Huh. It's pain sometimes. So I go to hospital someday.
You're gonna go soon, but not you
Yeah.
haven't been there in a while, right? It's been a long time since.
Yes. Maybe I go to one time in a week.
Once a week, you go to for treatment.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
Yeah. And how is your blood sugar?
Yeah. It's I was car accident 1 year ago due to car accident.
So you have lawsuit?
Yeah.
Oh, 1 year ago. You wearing your seatbelt?
Yes.
Seatbelt. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's you had your seatbelt on. That's very important, and you have a good lawyer.
Yes. I'm having a good lawyer.
Good. I'm happy to
Yeah.
hear that. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So you sell the Louis Vuitton handbag?
Yeah.
The handbag. You sell it? Or no?
Oh, it was very cheap.
Oh, they want to
Yeah.
give you. Oh, they want to give you less money.
Oh, a little.
Oh, but you told them, forget it. I want a higher price, right? Or you said,
It's 16 thousand. I don't know.
yen.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm nervous.
Oh, so I know you're nervous.
Yeah.
I could tell. Yeah. So they wanted to give you cheap. What? They want to pay you less money for the Louis Vuitton handbag. Say, I know it's worth more money. Give me more money.
Yeah.
But
Maybe. Yeah. 16.
So your daughter.
$100.
$1,600?
Yeah.
Wow, that's how much Louis Vuitton is, huh?
Yeah, it was very cheap. So
wow, I didn't yeah, I don't realize they're that expensive, the designer handbag.
Yes, Louis Vuitton is very expensive when
more than Gucci.
when buy.
More money than Gucci.
No, no, Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. And your daughter, that's why your daughter says, don't sell it. Keep it. Keep it. Keep the handbag. Your
My
daughter.
daughter's not interesting about brand bag.
She's not interested in designer handbags.
Yes, yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So she said, as you like, always.
Well, yeah, you're going to see your family in next month, October.
Yes, yes. I'm going to next month my daughter's house. But I can't stay my daughter's house because his room is small.
It's too small. Yeah, I know. So that you have to get a hotel, but your daughter can bring her son.
Yeah.
To the hotel and stay with you in the hotel.
Yes, I booked hotel. Yeah.
Now,
Mm,
I know you have to. I know you have to have breakfast, have coffee, get ready, and then get ready to go to work.
yes, yes, today.
No, would you like before you leave? Would you like to say hello to people you know in Japanese? Say hello to your daughter in Japanese.
Mm.
Would you like?
Yes. No.
You don't want to talk Japanese?
Yes, she's working every day, so very busy. She's very busy all day.
No,
Always.
I mean, you can on here on the show, like before you leave and go and get ready, have your coffee and get dressed. If you want to say hello to your friends and your daughter and say talk to them in Japanese, would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, here. Talk to your friends and daughter in Japanese right now.
No?
Yeah.
She is very busy. I can't do that.
Yeah, but she can watch you can show her the video.
Maybe she's preparing for go to work now. So very busy now.
Yeah, I mean, when she's home, you can show her the video, and she
Maybe she will watch this later.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Talk to your daughter and your friends in Japanese. Say hi.
But I said to only daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
No Japanese? All right. Okay.
Yeah.
No. You don't want to talk to her in Japanese?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I say my friends.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends.
Yes. It's my friends sleeping now. Maybe.
No, forget it. I mean, yeah, I'll send you a message later. So,
yeah,
I'll send you a message later. You don't know what I'm saying. Yeah.
English conversation is very difficult about me.
That's why I say before you leave to get ready for work.
Yes.
You can on the video on the show. You can talk to your friends and your daughter in Japanese, and then they can watch the show.
Yeah.
Later.
Yes. Yes, I'm going to say about that.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, okay. I will.
Okay, you don't want to. All right. You don't want to talk in Japanese. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So listen. You go drink your coffee, get dressed. You know, if you have time and you wanna, because I'm going to end the show because there's nobody's around. Me and you. That's it. It's only me and you in the show. So I'm going to end the show soon.
Yes, yes.
And then I'll go. Yeah, I'll go inside. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I see you inside.
Okay.
Okay.
I will go out now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have to preparing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining me on Progressive Discussions for during September 11th, 2022. I assume everyone is somewhere. I don't know where they are, but they're somewhere. So and that should be it. I was going to spin the wheel again, but I think that we should keep the show very low key, like it's been. This is, but then again, it's a memorial show to honor and to mourn the death of over 3,000 innocent people for 9/11. So those that are just checking out my show today for the first time, it's usually a lot more lively and funny than it was today. So thank you, everyone, and I'll see you next time.